The first product that we're going to overview today is what we call your Cancer Specified Disease Policy. This is a cancer policy that is unique. There's nothing else like it on the market. This is what we have at Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and the cancer plan you have available to you pays benefits directly to you in the case of cancer. It also includes 32 other diseases, things like MS, lupus, West Nile virus, toxic shock syndrome. A lot of these diseases we have found are treated very much like cancer: chemotherapy, immunotherapy, and sometimes radiation. This policy pays exactly the same benefits for the other 32 diseases that it does for cancer. That should be important to you because, as I mentioned, your cancer policy is like none other on the market. A lot of the plans we see out there will pay $200, $300 a day each day you have chemotherapy. What no one bothers to tell the employee is that the vast majority of cancers, you will get 1, 2, 3 days of chemo per month. They'll let you be sick for the next 3 to 4 weeks, get your blood weight count back up, and then they give you your next round of chemotherapy. So a lot of the policies on the market will end up paying $200, $400, $600 a month maximum. The policy that you have is different. Instead of that type of a situation, this policy reimburses the employee the actual bill charges for the chemo, radiation, immunotherapy up to $5,000 per month. I will tell you, in the last 3 years, I haven't seen any claims where the chemo immunotherapy charge was less than $5,000 a month. The one thing I want you to understand is these are things that your group medical plan are normally going to pay for. If you go in and have chemotherapy, you will be paid, your group medical plan will pay the hospital, the pharmacy for these events. Our policy, and it pays this in addition to the employee directly. The whole idea of our plan is to provide income for the family while they or a family member are going through treatment. We expect the group medical to pay the lion's share, but at the same time, you still have deductibles, co-insurance. A lot of times people miss work, used to have to use a leave of absence, and they are losing income. So we try to design this plan to pay benefits that will replace the income being lost so you can do what you need to do. I designed this plan 20 years ago after my 14-year-old son went through cancer. He was diagnosed to be terminal. He was diagnosed to lose him in the first 48 hours. So I sat in a hospital for 9 months with no paycheck. Like anybody else, the employer will give you the time off, but they don't pay your salary while you're off. So that's what I learned from the experience. Now, my son ended up being what they refer to as the miracle kid at Children's. He is the second survivor of the type of cancer that they had ever had. But in the process of going through this, I learned where all the holes were in the existing policies. I had one of them and wanted to design a plan that would do what it was supposed to do for the employee. So as I mentioned, the first big 800-pound gorilla is the drugs they use to treat the disease. So it does reimburse you $5,000 a month for house payment, car payment, whatever you want to use it on. It pays the same benefits for the 32 other diseases. When we were on a 6th floor children's hospital, we had kids up there with MS, lupus, sickle cell anemia. They were all getting the same chemotherapy, immunotherapy as my son was. So this policy will pay the exact same $5,000 a month for those diseases as well. We also put into the policy a bone marrow peripheral stem cell transfusion benefit. Why did I do that? Because my son had to have one. And what I found out is when someone goes through that, they no longer have an immune system. They're starting from scratch, so they're kept in isolation for 4 to 6 weeks. And what we found, that meant pretty much the entire family was at the hospital. That means people were losing income. So we designed this policy, if a person has to have that procedure, we pay the family a $15,000 benefit, regardless if your group medical pays 100% of the cost for the procedure. The other big one for me from family experience is breast cancer. A lot of the policies I saw on the market would pay $250, $500 for breast cancer reconstruction benefit. I just had a school teacher up in Amarillo that had breast cancer, had the reconstructive surgery. It was actually done in 2 surgeries, and each surgery was right at $7,000. Your policy reimburses the employee the actual bill charges for breast reconstruction. Again, your group medical is going to pay for it, but I don't see someone going back to work a week after having that procedure. They're usually off 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. The whole idea of our plan is to put money in your pocket while you are recovering or going through treatment. Your policy also includes a ICU, CCU, and CCU can be cardiac care or critical care unit benefit. If you are an ICU or CCU for any reason, the policy pays $325 a day up to 45 days per confinement. Then it resets once you leave ICU again. Ones I've seen recently, obviously, is we're seeing the ICU benefits being paid out because of COVID and COVID admissions. There is no coordination of benefits with this. Whatever your group medical pays, that's great. You just give us a copy of the EOBs. We pay our benefits on an indemnity basis above that. Policy does have guarantee issue. We will not decline anyone. The only stipulation in our policy is that anything that you have been diagnosed with or have been treated with in the last 12 months, we will not pay you benefits for the first 12 months. Once we hit month 13, even if you're going through the same treatment, we will start paying the benefits. One of my clients is a company over in Albany, Texas called Air Tractor. They make the blue and gold crop dusters that you may have seen out in the fields. When we first put the plan in, one of the employees' wife already had been diagnosed and was being given chemotherapy for lupus. I explained to him that she was covered for lupus under the policy. We would not pay benefits the first 12 months on her chemotherapy. Once we hit month 13, we started paying her chemotherapy, which she received every other month. That was 3 years ago, and she's still receiving the chemotherapy every other month. So that is how it works. If you sign up for the plan and you already have cancer, as an example, or one of the other diseases, if you were diagnosed with a different type of cancer or one of the other diseases, the policy pays immediately. This plan is totally portable, so it should be the last policy you ever have to leave. If you leave Hunt Regional for any reason, retirement, offered a job in Hawaii you can't refuse, you can take this policy with you, same rates, same coverage. You just go to a direct bill basis bank draft is what we normally see instead of payroll deduction. The policy also has a wellness benefit in it. And what that simply means is if the employee, spouse, child goes in for their annual physicals and they do any type of cancer screening, pap smear, mammogram, PSA blood test, chest x-ray, if you call the Met office, which is Bay Bridge is our administrator, and tell them you had that procedure done, the policy reimburses you $100 per year per family member that goes through cancer screening treatment. I like this for 2 facts. One, it encourages people to go in and get checked every year, so if you have a problem, you catch it early. And the second being the $100 per person adds up to being pretty close to, or maybe even a little bit more than 1/3 of your gross cost of your policy per year. So it drastically decreases your out-of-pocket cost for having the plan. Make sure I don't forget anything. I do have my notes because I want to make sure you have it all. Basically, there's a whole lot of other benefits included. $200 a day each day you were in the hospital in a confinement, going through chemotherapy, going through the cancer treatment. We were one of those unusual. Normally it's 1, 2, 3 days, get your chemotherapy. Sometimes that's even done outpatient, and then go home, come back for your next treatment. In our particular case, we were inpatient at Children's Medical System for 9 straight months. So the $200 a day adds up pretty well when you spend 9 months sitting in a hospital. This is a quick overview of how the plan is set up. If you have any questions, you can ask us. And if you already have the plan, you do not need to do anything. If you are interested in the plan, then we will be happy for you to give us a call. We'll go through the electronic enrollment system and add you to the plan. Thank you.